Hello everybody, this is a 2014 Jeep Grand Cherokee. It's here for a smoke smell from the cabin. And from the quick inspection I noticed there was an oil leak, and what you can see, the oil leak onto the valve covers, and this one is leaking onto the exhaust manifold. So it's leaking onto the exhaust manifold from the valve cover gasket. So in this video I'm just going to show you how to replace the valve cover gasket. To do that, we basically have to remove the intake manifold, the top section, get to the valve cover here. You gotta take the airbox out to get to the valve cover here. So let's get started. So first thing we need to do is disconnect the battery. The battery for this car is under the passenger seat. You're gonna roll the seat back, pull this cover out, and you will see your battery. So that's the terminal back there we're gonna need to disconnect. We are going to get to this 10 millimeter. All right, open that. Once you got the battery disconnected, let's go on to next step is removing the airbox right here. Remove that sensor, unplug any of the mounting things that are holding on to the box. This thing is already separated. This is repaired. One thing we need to do is open these clips to get the box out of the way, and then lift, slide, and out. Next, we're just going to lift this guy up and then pull it out. So this will separate the box for you. Put it aside. Lucky for us, the valve cover on the passenger side is easy. We're going to remove the throttle body bolts, get throttle body out of the way, and we will be able to get to the valve cover on the passenger side. One thing we do have is a PCV valve down here. We're going to need to disconnect that. Otherwise we cannot take the valve cover out. We also need to remove these timing actuators out. We cannot pull the valve cover up with these connected. So let's just disconnect these guys and get your tools ready. You need the Torx for here, 10 millimeter for the valve cover, and you also need a tool like this to separate your wire harness from the studs. Pull them up. One thing I noticed is this was repaired. I think I noticed that before. This car was here for another service. We're gonna lift this vacuum out of the way because I don't want to break this. It's already pretty oh, never mind, it came off. Next, we also have these 8 millimeters here, and then there's one right in here. We're gonna remove that, so be back. There you go. Yeah, everything falls. Don't worry. Nothing will work the way we want them to, when we want them. Now, let's disconnect these coils because we... So, let's get the ignition coils out. What? Why does the coil come out like that? See this guy. Eesh. Okay, let's go this one. That came out easy. Gotta retrieve this one without breaking it. So I'm just gonna take the manifold out of the way because I do have to. This guy is sir. Yeah, there's no room for that. And one bolt is right there. One thing you could do is pull these bolts up and then do a half turn. That will prevent the bolts from going back in and causing a problem when you're trying to take the manifold out. Because the other bolts, they kind of fall in. And when you pull the manifold out, they're kind of in your way. You see this metal bracket here? Yeah, we're gonna remove the bracket and the stud. Once you get manifold pulled out, slide a bit, you get access to this plug, the vacuum right here, the vacuum hose right there, and you'll be able to disconnect everything. Let's pull the manifold out and get it out of the way. There's this bracket back there that's connected with 2 bolts, one here, one there. The manifold is held by this bracket. So all you need to do is loosen the 10mm here and there, and then loosen the bottom one. And this right here is your PCV hose. We are going to take the PCV out. Now I'm going to remove this cam sensor. So we're going to pull that plug out of there. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is take the PCV out and work on this side first. Get yourself T25 and let's open these. Original. Get yourself a marker and mark the solenoids 1 for 1, 2 for 2, however you want to mark it. Because for me, it does matter which solenoid is where. A computer is constantly adjusting these, so in my opinion, it does matter. Some people say no. So I can't really comment on that. Anyway, this is out. Let's get to these 10, I think. So right here, 8mm. Remove all these out of your way. Yeah, that happens a lot. Okay. Some of them are easy to remove, some are torqued down. So open all of them. So you have to guide the cover out with both hands. One hand right here, one all the way in the back. You're gonna lift this side up, and that one slide a bit up, slide it back a slide a bit, and this will come out. See, this gasket has seen better days, I guess. So I'm gonna clean the surface up, and I got a new valve cover and new gasket. I'm gonna go ahead and install that, and then put everything back on this side. When it comes to the passenger side, the driver's side, we are in a little bit of different situation. We're gonna need to remove these brackets completely, and those 2 bolts all the way down to the cylinder head. It's a nightmare to get to, but you're gonna need to get to them. I'll show you real quick. Right there, that bolt, one here and one there. Just because those are studs makes it even difficult. Vacuum line, you can see that. We're gonna remove that vacuum line out of the way. This sensor here, remove it with the Torx all the way out. And of course, disconnect all your coils, disconnect these sensors, and remove this cover out as well. Here are my new covers. And one thing you could do is you can line things up, make sure everything is matching. Position of the solenoids should be exact. The coil bolts, the seal for the cam timing, all the bolts are here. I also checked the back. So the PCV valve for some Jeeps after 2014 are different. This one is bolted on, it's not a twist. You can see that's bolted on. And to get to it, you need a Torx 25 and very small ratchet, and go back there and take it out and slide it out. Mine looks the same. I got brand new gaskets for the spark plugs. I got new gasket and of course new gaskets for the front actuators. So I'm going to go ahead and install this guy same way I took it off. Passenger side is done. I just mounted all the hardware back in. So this right here, when you slide it down, this bolt has a specific spot, so it will go exactly there. Don't torque it down until you get this correctly installed. And the PCV valve is bolted down. Now you can see all the anchors for the wirings there. This is the throttle body harness. So this is done. I'm gonna move on to the driver's side now. So for this bracket, all I did is I just loosened it enough. It's out of my way. Same this guy. I didn't want to take it out completely. It's a nightmare to take it out. And let's take out our valve cover. You got 8mm bolts right here. You're gonna take out all these bolts. Then perfect. So these are easy to get to. The ones back there might not be. Yeah, so I gotta take a ratchet for this. As soon as you get all the bolts off, here you go. There's one bolt in the back. You can see that in the center right here. You have to get to it from the top like this. There's no PCV on this side, so you don't have anything else to worry about. And I'm gonna have to remove this guy and install it back onto my new valve cover. So there's the gasket, and we can see the water oil leaking into the manifold. I don't understand it, but sometimes gaskets fail. The areas that had silicone, you can reuse a little bit of silicone when you put new gasket down. So I'm going to take a chop towel, clean all this up, and I'll be right back. So get this out. You have this clip down here. You're just going to lift the clip up and twist, and this guy comes off. So we're going to install it into the new one. Here we go. We got a new one. Push it down, twist, and lock it in place. You will hear it click. There. You see? Oh yeah. It's locked in. Let's put this cover back in. Well, I need both hands, but one advice I can give you is make sure the valve cover sits on its space by itself instead of you forcing it in. Once you guide this in, it sits in just fine. The back side here, you want to make sure you put your hand back there and feel around the valve cover. Make sure there's no wires or any of the hoses stuck in the way under the valve cover, because that plug will go under the valve cover. If you don't pay attention, you might be torquing the bolts on it. So the valve cover should seat properly by itself as soon as you slide it down in its correct position. You see that? It's just sitting where it wants. And once you get that point, that means you got everything right. You don't have anything in the way. That way you don't damage anything. So I'm just going to go ahead and tighten two of the bolts. One right here and one right here. Perfect. So now you can just tighten the rest of them. Once you get the valve cover on, let's install our actuators back in. The actuators have new seals on them, so we should be good. We don't need to replace anything else on this side. So let's put all the bolts back in. So let's tighten all the bolts for the actuators. I'm gonna hand tighten them, and I'll be back. So at this point, both of the valve covers are installed with new gaskets. Time for you to inspect all your work before installing the intake manifold back in. I'm just going to guide the intake manifold just a little bit, and then connect all the hoses back here. This one I need to connect. This stud here needs to be connected onto the bracket. And this one I can connect after, but this plug here I need to connect before shoving the manifold under that body. Look how much oil is coming out of this guy. If you get the screws twisted up, this will be very easy to slide the intake manifold in, and if you haven't, they will keep getting stuck in your way. They will keep getting hooked to the bottom, and you cannot slide the intake manifold correctly. So it's recommended just twist them half turn up, and they stay locked up like that, so they don't fall down. Same goes for the intake manifold. Do not force this guy down. Just move it around until it slams itself in place. And if every single bolt lines up, you are in good condition. If you try to force this in, there's something in the way, and you might end up damaging stuff. So take a look back there, see what's going on. If there's anything in the way, take it out, and then try it again. You just wiggle it, and it goes back in place just fine. And after that, you can tighten your bolts. You see that? There's barely any space, and it's set by itself. So, all right. Okay, you can go ahead and hand tighten everything. And next, we're gonna connect throttle body. Let's connect all of the bolts off the throttle body. I'm gonna hand tighten everything because it's bolted into plastic and we don't want to go too crazy on it. So connect the throttle body plug, secure the harness. This is the air temperature sensor. I'm gonna plug that over there. I'll be back. Just connect this, secure the airbox right here. Then you got a hose down here. This airbox has a little notch here. I'm gonna push this on it. It secures it in place. It's just a push down notch. You put your hand in there, you will feel it. There. Perfect. Let's connect the hose. Sorry, intake pipe right there. Once you got that box square secured, you can connect your mass airflow sensor. Push this on. You just need to make sure this clamp is tight. There's nothing else in here. Let's put our wire connectors. Now, this here is what I need to deal with. You might not have to, because your car might be different, but this thing is evap solenoid. I don't know what else I can do here. So apparently this is a heat shrink, and it was very loose, so I just applied the heat again. Looks like it has a good connection. I don't know for how long. This right here is supposed to be connected, but I remember this was broken. So right there is where you connect your tube to the top of the manifold right there. This one I never touched, so it's connected to right there. This guy, it just loops around. Make sure your intake box is connected. Everything else is connected. Your solenoids are connected. I'm gonna go just connect the battery and try to start the. Here we go. Got the engine running, and no oil leak here, and no more oil leak on that spot. We don't see any smoke anymore. Everything else seems to be working. That's it. Well, this is what it takes to replace your valve cover gaskets. Same principle if you want to change your spark plugs or intake manifold gaskets. This is all needs to be done. Well, thanks for watching, everybody. See you in the next video. Take care. Bye.